Hotter than the devil? Nigga, hell yeah. What's going on? It's the Kai Beam Podcast. We are back for episode 4. We are back. Man, it feels like forever since the last episode because we have like just a bunch of topics here to talk about. A lot of shit going on and yeah. We hope you guys enjoy the listen. So, where do you want to start with all these topics?
Well, like you said, we got a lot of things going on here. We're talking about taxation and theft, family dysfunction, the worst top 5 and best movies and TV shows of this fucking decade. We got a lot of shit to talk about, but let's get started with TV shows like The Last of Us.
Right. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm your host, Kai Beam. And this is my co-host.
These niggas know by now.
Yeah. You should know. Honestly, like if you're listening week to week, you know who we are. But I guess this is just for like new listeners per se. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and start with The Last of Us stuff. So this will be quick. They say it's actually happening, and I screenshotted this and sent it to one of my buddies, Alex. He's one of our other buddies. We talk about The Last of Us. Me and him talk about it a lot. Or at least we did, I should say. After The Last of Us 2, we don't really talk about that much anymore. But the show is actually happening, and my stance is I will watch them adapt the first game. After that, I am checking out. Alex said he's not watching it for shit. So I was like, listen, I don't blame you, dude. I really don't. But me and him are on this kind of truce here, or not truce, but this pact that the second game does not exist in our headcanon. So there is no sequel to The Last of Us 1. That's how I feel. You can fight me on that, but fuck it. I don't really have too much else to add on that. I'm just, like I said, I'll watch them adapt the first game, but after that, I'm checking out. So
it's gonna be interesting though, because I kind of wonder how they're gonna choose like the casting, because they can't do the same thing with the characters like they did in the video games, like with the movies. Because part of the thing that people kind of like, and I'm one of those people that kind of question is like how the characters look, particularly like how like the female characters look, because Neil Druckmann has this sort of thing where he's really not trying to sexualize the characters by going as far as to like drastically give them like breast reductions and like hip reductions and stuff like that, and it makes them look unnatural.
Yep.
And I actually was like talking to someone on Reddit because Neil Druckmann actually became the president of Naughty Dog. So
unfortunately,
do with that with what you will, Kai Beam.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Kind of makes me wonder, because I was talking about how Abby looked unnatural because they slapped another body on top of or they slapped the head on top of a body, and it makes me wonder how they're going to do it, because I think anyone who's been to a gym and has been around like bodybuilders and stuff like that, especially female bodybuilders, they don't look like Abby like that.
Exactly. You can look this up. Like, I've said this before. Back when I used to talk about Last of Us 2 a lot and why it was shit, Abby was a central focus, because you take a look, not to cut you off, just want to say real quick, you take a look at the person she's framed after, right? She is a bodybuilder, yet she still looks like a woman. And another
point, that was the thing
too,
I was going to talk about too, was real quick, was the fact that like the character that was modeled after her, like she looked like a bodybuilder, but for some strange reason, like they just kind of like decreased like her chest and stuff like that. It was weird, but keep going.
Yeah, I was just also going to say too, the way she and people always have an excuse, the fucking guys who like will defend the game to the end there, but the way her body is structured, how is she keeping all that mass and that strength in a post-apocalyptic world? Please tell me.
People said that it was like, it's like resources and stuff like that, and I get that, but it's just like, even if it is,
that's bullshit, because I don't care. I will say they do have a facility, but you would have to be eating and taking all these different things to be supplying the body to be looking like that. And notice, no other character in the game, and I mean no other character, because I played that shit, no other character looks like that. It's just her. Not even the niggas on her side look like that. So you expect me to believe that she's the only bodybuilder woman or person there that looks like that. Bullshit.
Hey, grief makes
Bullshit.
makes a bitch turn into Batman. That's what she looked like. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the only thing that I can say. This is gonna be my closing thoughts on this topic right here. Is like looking at her. She has like fucking Popeye arms. Like her arms are fucking huge. Like her wrist to hand ratio is fucking crazy. Like that chick wears like extra large watches or some shit. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. But
yeah, we could move on though.
However that goes. PS5. I was looking at the notes, and granted, we do this every 2 weeks, so a lot of stuff is like a little outdated. To replace that information, because essentially it was just talking about like how the PS5 was going to be sold out regardless of a pandemic, because these fucking scalpers aren't pieces of shit.
Yep.
And
fuck all them niggas.
It was funny because actually I saw something recently where Amazon was saying, or people who bought PlayStation 5s on Amazon were getting different items other than the PS5 that they bought. So some people were getting air fryers, they were getting like racquetball, tennis rackets and shit like that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it was really bad. Like,
wow.
I didn't understand it. So, yeah, basically, PS5 still out of stock. Scalpers are just still trying to get it. The only thing that's really good is that the people aren't really trying to get a lot of the PS5s that the scalpers have, because honestly, me and probably everyone else does not want to pay $1,000 for a PS5 that's potentially going to break.
Exactly. Like, that's what these niggas fail to realize. Nigga, buy as many of these PS5s you want. It doesn't matter when you're fucking tripling the price. Like, no one in their right mind is going to buy a PS5 for $1,200. You are a fucking idiot. Like, we don't care. No one's buying it. Have fun trying to sell all that shit. Have fun.
Yep.
But actually, to tie in with the PS5, what was I gonna say? There's some topic here that I think. Oh, right. Here it is. So, I'm sure a lot of people have seen these rumors or whatever, because Sony apparently had patented a thing where they were going to do a dual GPU PS5 Pro. Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing if they do, but if they do that, or, I mean, we all know eventually they were going to do a PS5 Pro, right? They did it with the PS4. There's no reason they're not going to do it again. But, yeah. My thing is, I'm honestly may try to wait for the Pro. I don't know when they're going to come out with that, because I'd rather just get that if that's going to have any boost of performance like it did. Because I did notice when I did get my PS4 Pro, because I have the Spider-Man edition, I went out of my way to buy it, and I gave my other PS4 to my mom because she just needed something to play movies on and whatever. But yeah, it did actually have performance and visual like upgrades, so it's kind of worth it for me. I'm just gonna wait. I think and just wait for that version.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this before. I feel like it's kind of stupid that they're gonna do this dual GPU thing, because consoles are not like PCs, and
they're not.
So you have to have console parity, because you're going off of your graphics like benchmark, like the bare minimum is going off of the lowest specs that you're putting your game on. So honestly, it's kind of dumb if they're going to put 2 GPUs on there, and the only thing you're probably going to get is what, like extra frames. You're not going to get like better graphics or anything like that, because it's not feasible if the other console can't do it. So
that is true. Yeah.
Personally, I'm probably just going to stick with the PS5, just the regular one, because it already has 4K. It already has like 60 FPS and stuff like that. Like, we aren't going to see a massive increase in frame rates or resolution anytime soon, because for one, not everyone has a 4K TV yet, and then especially not an 8K TV. That's fucking bonkers.
Fuck 8K. Like, honestly, 4K has been such a thing that they've been trying to drive for so long now, and I don't even have 4K monitors, man. I just have regular ass 1080p. My TV is 4K, but I just remember when initially when 4K was starting, everyone was talking about like, oh yeah, this is the next thing. Honestly, this is where it should stay. I don't see how it can get any better than that. If they come out with some
I mean,
shit like
it can.
Diamond
It
K or some shit, I don't know, like
Diamond K.
Diamond K or some fucking shit like that, I'm just checking out, man. Like I'm just like
Uh,
it's just
I, I mean, it can, but the thing is, though, it's just like the the average person doesn't have a fucking 4K TV. Like, some people still have like 1080p TVs, 720s. Like, it's not the norm. Like,
right.
and on top of that, some of it's like expensive. Like, granted, like I got my TV for like 250 because it was like on sale, and it was like a 42 inch. That was cool, but you still got TVs that are like 600, $700. If you want to push that 8K market right there, you gotta decrease the price of the 4K. And I mean, even the monitor I have too. Like, I have it. I purposely got 2K because, for one, the specs that I have for my computer, granted it's a new one, can't handle 4K 60 FPS, and I like my 60 FPS.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing that sucks. I will say about consoles sometimes because I heard I think it was through Angry Joe's review actually because he recently reviewed Miles Morales and
Yeah.
he was talking about how they don't have an option where you can play in 60 and have the ray tracing at the same time. It's like either or, which is like
Yeah.
that's trash. Like, why is that a
Because
thing?
because it's such a new concept right there, and the console can't handle that. That shit will burn up.
Yeah, that's
I
unfortunate.
mean, we could do it on the PC, but
Yeah.
no, it's either or 30 frames per second or in ray tracing or 4K and 60. Personally, I got the best of both worlds, so it don't matter to me.
Yeah, for real. I can't wait to get a PC back myself because right now, what I'm using my machine, I built this myself, but fortunately, my graphic card went to shit, and I haven't replaced it because my intention is just to get a whole new machine. My CPU is not what I want it to be. It's pretty old at this point, so I,
Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to get most of my friends, him included, to build another PC, and I'm giving him like the specs and stuff because my other friend who we play games with, like, he was telling me that he wants to get another. He wants to upgrade his CPU and his motherboard because his motherboard is old as shit. He had to buy a M.2 adapter for his motherboard because it was really old.
damn.
So yeah, because we ended up getting our motherboard, not our motherboard, our M.2s at the same time. Because for me, my specs, like, I made sure to get like majority SSD uh, storage because I want that speed because I have like a terabyte M.2 and then 500 gigabytes and then like another terabyte of SSD along with like 2 terabytes of storage. So it's about like 4.5 terabytes of storage I have.
Yeah, that's a
Just a
lot,
little
dude.
flex.
You
Yeah.
won't need no fucking more storage after that. You straight. You definitely straight.
Yeah. But
But so
moving on. Let's look at the let's talk about the Chappelle show that's going on. So, uh, recently when I was like watching scrolling around Netflix, I saw the Chappelle show
yeah, I saw
pop
that
up,
too.
and
Hmm.
I watched it because I always wanted to watch the Chappelle show because he's one of my favorite comedians of all time. Um, Probably next to like Bill Burr and stuff like that. And after watching it for like a couple of weeks and stuff like that, Dave Chappelle came out and he said that he would not want anyone to watch the Chappelle show because the fact that Comedy Central screwed him over with the contract because he was not getting paid for the show. Not only that, it was being streamed on HBO, and the crazy thing was he even tried to pitch the Chappelle show to HBO, and they were like, "What the fuck do we need you for? We already got some good shit," and now they're streaming it. So it's just like the entertainment industry is some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I always think that the music industry has it the worst, but like
No,
just the entertainment industry in
it's as
general
a
is
it's
just
as
like
a whole,
goes through
dude.
the shit.
I've heard Joe and them, and I'm talking about Joe. When I say Joe, I'm referring to Joe Budden podcast because I watch them a lot. Although I'm behind on a couple episodes, but I plan to catch up. But every time they talk about shit like this because they are in the entertainment business. falls into music and all these other movies and shows and all these other brackets of things. And when they talk about stuff, they talk about it as a whole, because it's not just one specific aspect of the shit that's fucked up. There's multiple layers to the shit, that because there's just a lot of stuff that goes on. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little,
especially with the Chappelle show. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm a little hesitant as myself as an artist and as a podcaster now as well. Like, just to have to sift my way through that is gonna be interesting. But I'm not too afraid. I'm just a little apprehensive just because of all the things that I've heard and seen. But I'm not afraid. I know I'm gonna do good business. I'm a good business person. I'm not gonna be doing any sly or fuck shit to try and make my way up. That's not me. I rather make good business, make good business relationships with people, and keep it pushing. Make sure everything is copacetic and everything like that. But yeah, this is it's cool that they removed it at his request. And
Yeah.
it is just weird. Like, Chappelle show was like back in the day, man. That was like gold when it was happening, right? You know, it was just so many funny skits and great stuff. I didn't know he wasn't getting paid for that. That's insane.
No, I mean, he left because of the fact that, for one, they were making him do weird shit. Because Chappelle is one of those type of people. He's like, because he said it multiple times. He's like, I'm not gonna wear a dress to be funny, because like that's what a lot of black comedians get into. And like, it's a very controversial thing, and I don't really feel like getting into it right now. But it's like, he's not one of those people that wants to do that. And they're like, oh, we're gonna give you $50 million, and then he backed away from it because it was fucking killing him. It was killing this man, and he said it in a lot of his Netflix shows, specials.
Yeah,
he was like, I left the Chappelle show for that, and people thought he was crazy.
I specifically remember him talking about that. Was it on the Bird Revelation one, or one of those other ones, one of the more recent ones he did, where he was
it
talking
was either
about
on Equanimity or Bird Revelation. It was like one of his first
one of those two
Netflix specials.
And he was specifically talking about mirroring that specific situation to, what was it? He was talking about A Pimp Story, where it was like, you had the pimp, and then
I forgot the pimp's name, but yeah, there's a book to it. I got it.
Yeah, I need to get that too. It sounds interesting, but yeah, it was about a pimp and his bottom bitch. I think, like, that's the terminology. I'm not saying bitch like in terms of like to be rude or anything.
People know. They can look that shit up if they're curious.
Yeah,
there's a lot of terminology in there.
It's a pimp term, and yeah, he basically equated his story to that, and I was just like, man, that is a interesting way to put that. But yeah, I wish him the best. I hope whatever he plans to do next, he can do it of his own free will and get paid for it, man, because he's such a smart guy. His
Netflix, so I know he's good. It's just like that situation right there just fucking sucks, because Comedy Central, MTV and stuff like that back in the day, fuck them, because just treatment towards black people in the entertainment industry. There's a reason why people were talking about white Oscars and shit like that, which leads us into our next thing that I quickly wanted to touch upon, which was the Grammys. Personally, don't look at the Grammys, don't really care for it, but I did look at something that involved The Weeknd, and I was utterly spellbounded by that, because the fact that, actually, is it spellbounded? Dumbfounded, because it was dumb as fuck how Weeknd did not get not a single nominee, especially in R&B. I'm rhyming right now. I'm hot. And yeah, all these listings right here was just fucking bananas, because not only did his album not get nominated, which is really weird. His album is probably like one of the best things he's released so far. Just because like the style of it, like I've never seen an artist be able to switch to different kinds of genres and have like R&B and like 80s pop. That shit is fire. I know 80s like beats and shit like that. Like that shit is bumping. And the fact he didn't get anything was just fucked up. And then apparently he was given an ultimatum. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think Justin Bieber should have got any higher.
No. Like, I didn't, besides what you told me, I did not look into the Grammys at all. Listen, people, the Grammys, they're just a sham. Like, no one even the viewership has been going down for that. They're on some fuck shit always on there. You know why? And again, I can tell you this from Joe and them because they always expose shit like this on their podcast. These people, the board, the people who decide who gets the nominees and the Grammys themselves and win the awards, you have to suck up to these people. You have to go out of your way to go and fuck with these people at parties or shit. Make sure you're nice to them. Make sure you're cordial and shit. And then, oh, maybe, just maybe, that guy, since you were nice to him, he's gonna slip your nominee in. Like, why do you have to do that type of shit? Is beyond me. But for me personally, as like I said, as an artist, I'm not doing any weird shit. I'm not doing any fucking side shit to going out of my. I'm not doing going out of my way for nothing. It's like Drake said. I don't know if it was a year or two ago. I just thought it was hilarious. He basically was calling him out, like when he won his Grammy, and he said, "Yeah, if you're an artist, you don't need this hunk of metal right here just to verify like that you're a good artist or that you can make music. Like this is just a trophy. Like it's not that important." And in the midst of him saying that, they literally cut his shit off, like his mic, and it's just like, like
Yeah.
it's just funny. That's all I can say.
The Grammys and the Oscars are literally the electoral college of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. We're
Yeah.
not even represented. Like it's just people who are just like, yeah, let's go against people's popular opinion.
Yep.
Going kind of touching off of music, let's go ahead and get into the music side. So I used to be a fan of Chance the Rapper, like his mixtape Acid Rap, and then Coloring Book was like one of my favorite things listening to back in like 2016, and I thought he was like a really dope artist. He started collabing with Kanye West, and I liked Kanye West at the time before he started losing his damn mind, and then he announced the his first debut album, The Big Day, and boy, that was a big colossal failure because that shit was honestly the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And the news kind of goes further into it. Chance the Rapper's ex-manager is suing this nigga for millions and trashes The Big Day. Essentially what he's talking about is that Taylor Bennett, Chance the Rapper, I think that's his name, basically said, yeah, fuck Hat the manager, and decided to make his brother and his dad the new managers and replacement. Basically like yes men. And then the manager was just like, yeah, there's a reason why it failed, because I don't know why Chance the Rapper had this sort of vision where he just like thought that if he released his album and had his marriage in the same time frame, that it was just going to be like the spectacular thing. But it was honestly the worst thing I think anyone could do creatively, because his manager even said, hey, this ain't a good idea. And Chance, who I guess is not like a person to accept criticism, was like, no, we'll go ahead and do it. It's a vibe. And that's exactly what he did when he just had like random drop-ins with his studio sessions and had this like unproductive and just weird way of doing work. And that's the reason why it failed. Literally, when I heard the album, the people who his features were better than him. And that's the worst thing. I don't like Nicki Minaj at all, but somehow she did better than the nigga who's actually the main face of this album. Like, how does that happen?
Man.
And then he wants to talk like, man, I'm about to.
No, good talk your shit, bro.
Chance the Rapper, like this past year has just been nothing but a fish. He actively was like talking about before like the elections were over, he was like, I support Kanye West. He is on Kanye's dick so much that he was willing to say, hey, let's fuck with the turnout votes and just voting period, because of the fact that why can't there be more than two political parties? Man, I'm starting to get a headache, but basically this nigga is a whole ass fish. He is spoiled sushi. He is bad tuna. He is a stupid fuck. Asshole here. And he is honestly the most irritating artist.
Yeah, it's funny, just this whole situation and all the things he said before, like, yeah, like you said, he's definitely a Kanye dick rider. Like, it's almost as if Kanye can do no wrong in his eyes, right? But I mean, there's something to be said in that because I guess since Kanye had such a pivotal role in his career. Now, you know what's funny too? Actually, now I say that, Joe and them a while back were talking about how they, or at least Joe himself, thought that Chance was basically an industry plant. Like, do you know what I mean when I say that? Like
He sure does sound like an industry plant.
because if you think about it, it is a little strange. Like, when Acid Rap came out, that was his like first big thing. Yet he has all these big names on his mixtape. So it's like, how do you have access to people like that if you're not already connected? You know what I'm saying? So it is a little.
The only I don't know why I said Taylor Bennett. Like his name is fucking Chancellor Bennett. Taylor Bennett, his brother. But that was my fault. But I mean, granted, like Chicago is like kind of like a little area where like connections are made. So like that's maybe his own thing. And then also Acid Rap was like his second
Okay.
mixtape. Yeah, 10 Days is like his first one, but
Okay.
or 10 Day.
Yeah, I'm not. As you can
So
see, I'm not the biggest. I've never really. I've listened to him on features or sometimes. I've never went out of my way to listen to this guy. But yeah.
it,
Um,
it's so disappointing hearing like literally witnessing a downfall in like quality of work because just acid rap, I don't even live the same lifestyle as what's going on, but there's something about it that makes it feel nostalgic, and that's good. That's honestly like kind of like the definition of art is like relating to it in some fashion.
right.
And then you go to Big Day where he's just shoving down the fact that he loves his wife. We don't know this bitch. We don't know her. You
No,
keep
we
saying this
fucking
person
don't.
like we actually know her. He talks about her, and at first it was confusing because he's like, "Oh, I fucked her, and now I actually I have a kid, and like now I love her." Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh Lord.
I don't know. I hate this. Let's move on.
Okay. Well, since we're in the music realm, I guess I'll just quickly gloss over. So Lil Wayne, he recently put out, what was it, another mixtape recently. I wish I could listen to it, but it's not on Pandora, so whatever. But he's going to release "I Am Not a Human Being" Part 3 in 2021, so that's cool. I'm gonna listen because I'm a Lil Wayne fan. Musically, anyway, I should preference that musically. Always have been since like what, Carter 2, 3. Shit, I even went back and listened to Carter 1. Anyway, yeah, just wanted to quickly gloss over that. Yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and get into some controversial shit here. I don't want to spend because
I gotta say, Lil Wayne, like this
oh
man
yeah,
looks unhealthy. I saw clips, not clips, pictures of him like fucking stapled his dread to his other dread. Like I don't even think it's stapled. I think he sewed it on there, and he just don't look well. How did he release this? I thought he was getting in trouble for a gun charge.
was he? Oh right,
Yeah,
I did hear something. Why didn't I put that on here? I mean, I guess maybe that's old news. So, uh, yeah,
that's not that important.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess he got off. Why else would he be saying he's gonna doing that? I guess. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I guess it's not that important. He has a gun charge. Hopefully he gets that sorted out. But, yeah, I guess we can move on to this Megan stuff. So I don't want to. We're not a gossip podcast or anything. And I don't want to like focus on this shit too much. But there is something to be said here. So her former friend, we talked about this last week. I just want to say I wasn't very I don't want to say, what's the word for that? Like, not, I guess neutral would be the word, because there are two or three sides to every story, right? So the friend, or her friend's name is Kelsey. She released a diss track because of Megan's track on Shots Fired on her album, where Megan was dissing Kelsey or whatever. So the friend said she felt like she didn't really have any other course of action because I guess she doesn't really want to come out and talk about it like that. But she felt Megan left her no choice. And another point she made was that when all this shit with Tori was going down, there are she didn't come out and say this, but there are people saying that perhaps the situation there, because everyone thought initially that the reason they fell out was because Megan was with Tori and Kelsey was like basically the side piece. People were saying perhaps it was switched. Maybe Kelsey was the main thing and Megan came in and kind of fucked her over. Now, if that's true, that's fucked up for one. And the thing is too, is that Kelsey said when that whole situation was going on and it was fresh, she was trying to contact Meg, calling her, texting her, all that shit. Meg was ignoring her, wanted nothing to do with her. And I just want to add too, I had completely forgot about this actually. So there's this thing that people pointed out that Meg seems to be a social climber, like a user, right? To get put on.
Like an opportunist.
Like an opportunist, yeah. And the reason people are saying that, it makes sense, is because if you look at her actions, it does seem like that. Because, what was it, last year? She did a song with Nicki. And there was this whole promotion shit, blah, yada, blah, blah, blah. They're on IG. They're doing this FaceTime shit. They're promoting their song, blah, 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 blah. And we all know Nicki does not like Cardi, right? So I believe on those live streams they were throwing subs at Cardi like, oh yeah, I'm about to write, because everyone says Cardi doesn't write her own music, blah blah blah. Now we fast forward to this year, right? And what happens? Cardi and Meg just so happened to put out a really big song, WAP, right? And apparently Meg is now on Nicki's shit list, which makes sense because she doesn't like Cardi.
Okay, well, first of all, why the fuck? Why? I thought Nicki Minaj retired.
Listen, it's the same thing. Like they talk about this on Joe's podcast all the time. When an artist says they're retired, don't take it for face value. That's
okay. My follow question is, why is she here? Why is she here? Like, no one cares about. She has to deal with her fucking pedophile brother and boyfriend or / husband. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares about this person?
Apparently she does, because nigga, we've seen the way Nicki acts. Like she's just.
Ain't she fucking 40?
Yeah, but she's not gonna let that stop her. Like, you should, like, nigga, the type of shit that Nicki has been a part of is just like, it's a fucking yikes. But I'm saying all this to say, yeah, I could give more examples, but like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on the Megan shit. I'm just saying, I just wanted to clear up from last week. There was 2 or 3 sides to every story. So I told Kelsey to shut up last week. I'll renege that, because maybe there's more here that we just don't know. So, you just never know. You just never truly know people that you listen to or look up to or whatever have you. Musicians. They can show you the best of, what I'm saying, what they want to show you, but who they actually are behind the scenes, yeah, that comes to light often more times than not. So
I'm not gonna lie, dog. These are reasons why I don't like Megan Thee Stallion or like Sweetie or Asian the Brat, because it's just, they're fucking annoying. Like I honestly hate hearing all this shit, because for one, it's publicity. It's a publicity stunt. I don't even think they actually hate each other. Like, any of these girls, like, I don't think Nicki or Cardi or any of these girls, these trios of chicks, don't actually hate each other. It's just a game, and it's just frustrating hearing this. Like,
it may be. I won't deny that, but I will go as far as to say, I don't. Megan Cardi or Cardi and Nicki, they have issues. Like, them bitches do not like each other. They don't. But like, we can move on, because like I said, this ain't a gossip podcast. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Let's see.
What happened with this 21 Savage?
Oh yeah, so I didn't know much about this. I didn't even know 21 Savage brother. Apparently, he got murdered, and like it's just like what the fuck is going
Oh, he
on?
talked about it in his song a lot.
Like
He talked about it. Yeah, he said his brother died.
I didn't even know that, but apparently
Yeah.
they charged the dude who did it. Where did this happen? In like London or something? I
Yeah,
think.
because 21 Savage is a Brit. Hit that chick.
Yeah. Well,
Probably
I
like, right on then. Found the murderer.
right on then. Come on then. Come on. But yeah, it's a good thing they caught the guy. Fuck him. Put him in prison for forever. Some fucked
I
up
ain't
shit.
gonna lie, this guy is in the best place right here because if this was like the United States, he would have got capped. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Um,
considering yeah that who we know 21 Savage to be. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 'cause he has street ties. So
yeah.
yeah.
So
But do you want to
here's
talk about this Dallas restaurant thing?
yeah, and then we can kind of move on to entertainment.
All right.
Because then we're gonna go from that, and then we can go to our top five TV shows and movies of the decade. So I saw this recently. It was on the 30th of November, and it was just kind of weird because the fact that like this guy owns a restaurant. I don't particularly know what the restaurant is called. I forgot. This guy's named Kevin Kelly. Is a restaurant owner in Dallas, Texas, and there's a video where he basically went off and was like telling people like, hey, like he is building a restaurant for black people to be in because obviously when you're in a high skill restaurant, there are things out there that's pretty much saying no black people allowed. And he went off because of the fact that there was these women that were twerking at the dinner table, like literally pressing their ass against the glass and just twerking. And he said multiple times like, hey, like please stop, like don't do this. And he got flack for it because of the fact that he got flack for multiple reasons. Like one, he was like he shouldn't tell him to get out, which is just fucking strange because it's his restaurant. And then two, these are grown ass adults who I don't know if they ever got their ass whooped by their parents when they were told not to stand on top of a table. And they're even blaming him for the choice of music they had because they're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have twerky music or we're not going to twerk. And it's just this whole thing about a lack of accountability that really frustrates me. And I'm going to be completely real. Um, we as black people, we are sometimes we are our own enemy. Like part of white supremacy is supported by our own kin. And
Yeah.
seriously, the
Yeah.
fact they called this dude Kevin and nicknamed him the KKK, like Kevin Kelly Kitchen, like y'all are some fuck shit for that. Like y'all are some grown
Wow.
ass adults. Like there is no reason why you should be fucking twerking in a restaurant. There is a time and place for that, and it's not a policing women. It's not talking bad on black women. Fuck you if you think that's the case. If you obviously lack accountability, you should know that they're in the wrong. Because if not, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, there is a reason why white upscale restaurants don't allow black people in because of that shit right there. And it's proof because they have a dress code and they'll say no bonnets, no sandals, or no shit like that. It's because it's stuff like that happens. And the thing that also reminds me too is it reminds me of when Lizzo came in with assless pants or whatever the fuck that was called and decided to twerk in an NBA game and got her feelings hurt for that. And it's stupid. And it has nothing to do with her weight. It was just inappropriate and it was not the right time or place. In a place where families go.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely those two situations are definitely the same thing. Like with the Lizzo thing, it's like regardless if it was her or any other chick like that did that, it's still it doesn't matter. Why are you twerking in front of like people like families and kids and stuff? Like, you know how weird that is? And then for this guy over here, he's in the right. Why are you trying to like make my like establishment that I'm trying to build here? Like, why are you doing that? Like, it just comes off like weird. Like, and ratchet almost. Like it's like I'm not trying. I'm trying to be professional. This needs to be professional, please. And if you say,
Imagine you're sitting down in a restaurant and you're like, "What does that smell? That smells like ass." And then you realize, "Oh shit, there's actual booty sweat on the glass. I don't want to eat here." You got to think about
exactly,
your shareholders or investors. Like, why would you do that? Like, and to blame
exactly,
it on music, is just it's just remedial. Like, it's just so stupid because it's like, if you hear like "fuck the club up," are y'all gonna start throwing the tables if you hear that song? Like, I
well,
don't usually say this, but fucking do better.
nah, you right though, because it's just and that's another thing too. We're in a pandemic, bro. Like we don't know where your ass has been. I'm not trying to say that to be funny, but seriously, why are you like just going out of your way to do all this shit, twerking all this shit? Sit down, enjoy your meal, get the fuck out. That's just how simple it should be. Have a fun time with your friends, yada yada. Eat, talk, leave. That's how simple it should be. That's just like
Yeah.
it's the fucking yikes.
That shit is wild. It honestly pissed me off because I was like, man, if I was the owner, I would have told security to take their ass out, like 86 them, whatever, because that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we actually get into the listing, okay, guys, I just want to talk about this thing here, and we talked about this off mic like a couple days ago when I had put this topic in here, and this has to do with just entertainment mediums as a whole, right? So, this is like a rabbit hole, but I just want to focus on this. So we have here over on DC's side, we have it to where they're doing this comic apparently where Starfire is having a daughter or she has a daughter, and here's what I'm just gonna tell you. Here's the key things that they're going to focus on in the story. She's gay and she's goth. That's just the
And she doesn't want to be her mom. Basically, we're talking about the DC Kids, which is kind of weird because it's young adult graphic novel, but it's a comic novel where it's basically I am not Starfire, and the reason why it's weird and the reason why Kai Beam just sounds like he has a gun to his head is because it's weird. Creatively, it's weird. I have to say, like, as an artist who draws, I do kind of like the vibrant art style to it.
yeah. I'm not
But as
saying
far
the
as like
art
how the
style.
character, like, yeah, no,
The art style looks
how the
fine.
synopsis of of the comic is what's weird because for one, I'm just gonna say, like, not even realistically, but these characters are superheroes and somehow they ended up with a fat daughter. Um,
Exactly.
it makes it really weird because it's just like, for one, they didn't show Nightwing. There, it's implied that it's Dick Grayson's daughter, which is again really strange considering the fact that you have a fit alien and a gymnastic, like, martial art master as a dad, and she's like set in high school. It's just this weird thing that's going on where, like, other YouTube shows or YouTube channels does this, and then, again, we're trying to be different, and I don't want to be part of that sort of group. But, like, entertainment wise, like, the target audience, their way of going about it is just really strange because this will be good for some people, but honestly, this will probably be like a one off. Like, I don't
Yeah.
see this being a thing. She's never going to be canon. Um, it's just really weird. Like, they said, like, what is the synopsis to this thing?
Yeah.
They're saying, like, she dyes her hair orange, or she dyes her orange hair black, and spends her days hanging out with her best friend Lincoln, avoiding the Teen Titans superfan, and hiding her feelings about the popularity in Pretty Claire, which is just this girl in class. And it adds to her anxieties, and then she ends up skipping SAT. That's her whole thing. And
Yeah.
if you
And
ask me, That's not good storytelling. It's
No,
not an interesting
it's
story.
not. Like, here's the thing as well. Why why do you feel why do you guys feel the need to attach these stories, these odd one-off stories to characters like that are well known just to kind of profit off of those names? Like, oh, well, you should read this because it's attached to Starfire. It's like, why don't you just go make a new story that has nothing to do with that or Starfire or any popular character where it just is weird. And we've seen this kind of stuff seep not only into comics, which is a part of the reason why they're dying, to be frank, and it's going into shows and entertainment now, and it's really annoying. I'll just
Honestly,
say that.
I blame the news networks, but we'll get to that when we get to our top five, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much that. Honestly, like I said, as someone who like kind of wants to make comics and stuff like that, but mostly make animated movies, I don't understand why they do this, and it's hurting their sales. And it's kind of sad because I like DC. I like DC Comics. They actually have one of the best stories told. Like, if I had to compare between DC, Justice League compared to Avengers, like Justice League tops that shit. Just with Flashpoint, Crisis, and all the other stuff. Just they're doing a really good job. But unfortunately, the sales aren't doing good, and yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
why they
just
do stuff like this.
it's just a product of alienating your fan base. We've seen this type of thing happen, before. With like, even you could relate this back to The Last of Us 2 or Star Wars, even, right? Where you have it to where their target audience is like away from the core fan base. You're catering to these weirdos, these people that are not going to buy your product. You're catering to these people and you're alienating everyone else. So by the time it comes to sell your next thing, no one is showing up. They've lost faith in you. I have no reason to just go. I'm not looking for the next Last of Us game. That's off my radar. I want nothing to do with that series ever again. That's my feeling. But that's on them. They lay in that bed, and they made that bed. They'll lay in it. So whatever.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing before we get to our last part is what's going on with HBO Max. And since you have HBO Max, Beam, you go ahead and talk about that. 'Cause it's some interesting stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of. I mean, if you've been living under a rock, you wouldn't know, like, this stuff is happening. But HBO and Warner Bros. They actually came out swinging, man. Like, I'm surprised. So if you guys haven't heard, Dune, Matrix 4, the new Mortal Kombat movie, the entire slate from 2021 that they plan on releasing in theaters, they're doing this month free thing where, let's say, actually it's starting this month, actually, because on the 26th Wonder Woman is supposed to come out, right? You get to watch that for the entire month, bro, for free. You don't have to pay $30 like Disney on their fuck shit with that Mulan movie. No, you get to watch it as many times as you want for that entire month. Nigga, that shit is lit. Like, I don't care what no one says. And this right here is the reason why I can see, again, this is further pushing the thoughts that theaters are going to become a novelty just because of that. And I'm sure they're probably looking, the theaters that probably looked at that headline, those headlines, are like, God damn it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
What the fuck?
what?
Not to cut you off, but I think I got some interesting information regarding the PlayStation. So there are talks about a PSP 5G coming out.
PSP.
It looks like from what it looks like the regular PSP. The exception is that it's basically like a cloud service where you can stream like God of War, Horizon, and all that stuff on there.
So they're trying to do a Switch, basically a Nintendo Switch or something.
Pretty much. Which honestly, like, I actually kind of want to get a Nintendo Switch. I bought one for my sister.
I do too. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, because my grandma has one, and honestly, like the way it's set up is really cool. Like you could just play it like portably, or you just click it into that little tray and then play it on your TV. Like that shit is dope.
Yeah. I guess the only thing, because like this is really new. Like people started talking about this like 2 days ago. If this works out, I would be a fan because honestly, I love the PSP. The Vita was just such a waste of an investment. Um, that's speaking for the both of us because me and Beam back in the day got a PS Vita. His shit broke through magic because that didn't make any sense, and then mine just died of boredom. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gosh. All right, yeah, go ahead and go back to your saying.
Oh,
So HBO
yeah.
Max is basically kind of going to kill cable. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, with all these shits right here, like Matrix, Dune, it's going to kill cable. I hope they don't raise the price because, like, I think it's, what, like $12 now
Yeah, I think
per month?
so.
I hope they don't raise that shit to 24 because those are the things that's keeping me from getting subscriptions. Like, these fucking $12, $10, it's ain't it for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're going back to cable, honestly, but I can say it's not as expensive as cable. I will say that. You just have to pick and choose what you want. Should they bundle shit together? But
well, they did say, I did hear that they're gonna combine Hulu. They want to combine Hulu with Disney Plus.
Really? Okay.
Which, if they do that, then I would actually prefer that because I don't want to pay like $10 a month essentially for both of these things because I like. Well, actually, no. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even watch anything from Hulu anymore because all the shows that I used to watch aren't coming out because of the pandemic. So I don't know. If they do it, it would be cool.
Right.
So
Yeah. I guess we'll see how the other streaming services respond. Like I'm more so looking at Disney. Like y'all niggas should just release Black Widow, bro. Like I don't know what they're waiting on. Like, that should have been out. That should have been out, my guy. Like you could have been had that out, and everyone would have watched it. Like I mean, I know there's some stipulations there. You know, they're having to change stuff with you know, like because the movies kind of shifted in like the lineup, so they have to change end credit scenes and all this shit. I get that, but still, Black Widow should come out. You should release some of the other movies on there too, just as a limited time window. You know what I'm saying? Because realistically, you're betting that the pandemic and all the shutdowns and stuff are not going to be as bad in 2021. I don't know, man. Like, are people really going to be running to the theaters like that? I don't think so. You may get a few stragglers here and there, but no.
bring back those drive-in theaters. Make that shit go mainstream. That's honestly the best way.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. That shit would be kind of trash though. Like, I hope everyone would be respectful because how annoying would it be if like there's a good part that happens in the movie and instead of clapping or some shit, you hear honk, 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 honk. It's like, okay.
No, I'm not gonna lie. It would be annoying if they like. I could see how it would go poorly. Like people would probably be blasting music. That would piss me off. I would honestly throw a firecracker in their car if someone ever did that. Because like, it's already bad enough when people fucking talk. And the worst experience I've ever had in the movie theater was watching like Straight Outta Compton, and all the niggas were just talking out loud, like basically acting like they were the director's commentary crew.
Oh.
And it was annoying. Like, I wanted there to be a fire drill just because of the fact that like they just would not shut up. And I can honestly see this happening to where like people are honking the horn, people playing music, like some ignorant asshole is just gonna like turn on their headlights and shit like that. Like, I don't know. I would not be a fan of that.
Yeah. It's that shit is funny, man. Yeah, I don't think I'd be one for driving theaters, honestly. Like, I will say,
I would kind of like it because it would be an interesting experience. Like, it could go really well. I said it before. Like, you're watching a movie, depending on who you're with, get some top, watching a film. Like, who's to say how this experience would go? But I feel like they should try.
Nah, you right. I mean, shit, fuck it, nigga. Yeah, it depends on who you with. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say I'd never do it. I'd try it. Shit, why not? But yeah.
You wanna go to the top five? This is gonna be like our main thing that we want to talk about because this decade,
Oh, you know what
2010 to
though?
20.
We actually
What's up?
forgot the tax and the family dysfunction. I mean, do you want to?
Oh, did you wanna do that afterwards?
Yeah, we could do it after. We can do it after.
Okay. So, yeah. So basically, the decade of 2010 to 2020 has had a lot of interesting TV shows and movies. Personally, I hated the 2010s in the first half because I feel like just cinematography hit an all-time low. There were some very shitty movies in 2010 to 2012. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if Marvel didn't exist, like the MCU didn't exist, I probably could not tell you what was my favorite movie back then. So, um, actually, no, you go ahead. You get started. Let's hear your top worst movies.
All right, so I don't have a particular order list because we didn't really do order. This is just the worst movies that I've watched in the last decade, and this is all over the place. Like, I don't have the dates, but this is like in between those times, from 2010 to 2020. So the first
Yeah, I
thing I
should
have,
also mention too. This man failed to do the top five, and he
yeah, because I have
selected like at least 8. So,
yeah, let me see, because like I just tried. I was just trying so hard not to. But I mean, I have some honorable mentions here and there. But like, I was just trying so hard
we
to
can
keep
bring them up.
we can keep them in the top five. But I just couldn't, bro. There's so many bad movies and bad shows and good movie. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, we'll start with the worst movies. So the first thing I have on here is the Resident Evil Final Chapter. Oh my god, man! How did that, like? I have Resident Evil in the same vein as I have Underworld, or what's another like the Friday movies, the fucking, like, what's the other killer slasher, like all the just franchise. Oh, Terminator is another one. Franchise like that where they just keep going for no real reason, and then they don't even like have fucking continuity with like the other movies they released. So it's just like, why is this still? Oh, you could toss Alien in that shit too. But
Oh yeah.
that, like, let me just say, this movie, I don't even know why I fucking watched it. But, oh my god, just don't waste your time. Like, the first, I can say this, the first Resident Evil they did, the first movie, it was fine. Sure, there was some bad CGI, blah blah blah, but they had good practical effects. The story, for the most part, was serviceable. It was fine. When you get past that, it's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And it's even funnier, actually, now I think about it, because I remember reading this story a while back where they asked the chick who plays Alice, I forget her name, but she was the main character. They asked her because apparently they're gonna do a reboot of this shit, as if this fucking series needs a reboot, because we know video game movies are shit for the most part. They asked her, yeah, what do you think about them doing a reboot? You know what this chick said? This chick said, well, have fun with that. I mean, you're like, we were real fans when we were making those movies. Like, yeah, real fans made that happen. It's like, so you're telling me, as shitty as those movies were, that you guys were real fans? Get the whatever. Let's just move on. Second thing I have on here, that comes in a two pack, my nigga. 2 Star Wars Episode 7, or Episode 8 and Episode 9, for obvious reasons. 7, however, I actually like that one. A lot of people were in the middle, like they weren't sure because it kind of, borrowed things from the originals, right? But oh my god, there's everyone's talked about this extensively as to why those movies are just trash. They didn't have a vision. I think if you stuck with one director and you had a storyboard, maybe you just had J.J. Abrams all the way through, it would have been fine. But when you have fucking Rian Johnson come in and this nigga just starts doing shit that's totally left, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, And when it came to episode 9, man, it just sucked because I kind of felt bad for J.J. Abrams because it feels like he just was stuck up on cleanup duty. He was like, well, damn. Well, this is the best I can do. And it's just like, fucking. It's sad, man. Sad.
I had that on my list too, and like I kind of have different reasons for why I hated it, and I lumped in the whole trilogy for mine because, like when Star Wars first came out, like the new trilogy, I was kind of concerned because they should have did Star Wars Episode 7 a long time ago. I was really hoping that they could because, you know, everyone got older. Everyone got older, and you know, the actress who played Princess Leia passed away.
Yeah, she passed.
And it was just Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, it just
Rest
really
in
sucked
peace.
because, yeah, it really sucked because of the fact that like George Lucas, like a lot of interviews I watched because I've started to kind of get back into like my like Star Wars like fanboy kind of thing, not like a, well, you know, and I was watching some interviews and stuff, and he was basically talking about how he did not want to get into like the Hollywood industry for Star Wars because he knew that they were going to twist his vision. And his vision for Star Wars 7 through 9 was way better than what actually came out. And what irritates me is the fact that on a story-based like point of view, like it was terrible because they essentially took the original characters, completely regressed their character. Killed every single one of them except for Lando, caused their characters to regress horribly, and then as a way to introduce a new sets of characters. And then, you know, I guess I don't even know how to say it, but essentially what they did to Finn's character was probably like the most fucked up thing I've ever heard, because like essentially what ended up happening was, you know, they had Star Wars 7 come out and they teased it, and it was pretty well implied that Finn was supposed to be a Jedi along with Rey.
It was on the nose, like it made it seem. It was on the nose.
It was on there because
they have a good marketing team. I'll tell you that.
Oh no, they don't. They do not have a good marketing.
Or I mean,
team
a good.
Here's why.
No, you're right. Not marketing. A good trailer team. A good team that knows how to slice shit up to make it shit seem like it's not what it actually is.
I mean,
it is what it's actually.
Those aren't the people that actually like the company. Different companies make the trailers. Like Disney isn't actually in charge of that.
I know. I'm just saying they hired good because they duped everyone. They did that same shit too with Episode 8, because I remember distinctly that's what pissed me off a lot when that shit actually dropped, is because when they dropped the first trailer for Episode 8, it was implying that Rey was gonna go down the path of a Grey Jedi. I specifically fucking remember when she was they had this sequence with Luke where she's talking to Luke, and he's like, "What do you feel?" And she says, "Balance, like the balance between light and dark." I was like, "Oh shit, okay, dope. I see where we going. Like this could get interesting." Fuck no, they smacked you in the face with a huge ass dick, my nigga. Pause. But like, like seriously, that shit was fucked up. It was just like, what the? But yeah, continue. My bad. I kind of went the whole like rant there.
No, you're straight. I mean, it just irritated me because of the fact they sidelined Finn. John Boyega was pissed and hurt because of the fact that like he was dead ass supposed to be a Jedi, and because of the fact that China does not like black people, which it is true. If you look at the Chinese posters for Star Wars, they literally minimized Finn, made him lighter.
That's fucked
and made
up.
him harder to see. And essentially, it's just Disney's appeasement to a totalitarian government because of the fact that, you know, China is majority of their shareholders, which, I mean, China owns practically everything now. But yeah, it was very messed up. And their only way of showing that, oh, okay, Finn is a Jedi is through a Lego special that Boyega isn't even voicing, which is just like, it's an insult. And
it is. That's fucked up.
I didn't like it.
Canonically, I feel like it doesn't exist. I kind of hope that Mandalorian doesn't tease Snoke, because they kind of did a little bit with a
Yeah.
couple episodes ago. But honestly, I really hope that it's just actually like clones of the Emperor, because that was the case in the books, and I really hope they don't tease Snoke, because it's disappointing. I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Imagine your favorite character coming back, and they make this nigga a hermit, and they make him once like someone who was so optimistic, like a pessimistic person. He's pretty much like Izzy. He's pretty much like our friend Izzy. Like,
Who was supposed to actually join us today, by the way, but
yeah, we don't
this
know
nigga
what
didn't
happened to him.
respond. So,
I think he got kidnapped, but
yeah, speaking of kidnap, that goes right into the next fucking thing I have on my list, which is Kidnap. I think this was in 2018 or 29. No, it wasn't last year. Maybe it was. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It was a shitty ass movie. I'm talking about Kidnap with Halle Berry. Now, listen. I was talking to Izzy about this before, and he was kind of like defending it a little bit, and I get it. It's a movie to shed light on the kidnapping of children. I get that. Here's the thing. Her actions within that movie were fucking stupid. Like, I don't care what you say. There's a specific scene I'm going to talk about that I was just like, why would you do that? She's following the people that abducted her kid, right? She's on the highway. There's a cop car that pulls in from behind her. Instead of slowing down and trying to like get the cop's attention, like, hey, like, you know, like wave her hands when she's next to the car or something, you know what she does? She starts swerving, and I'm talking about swerving, and the cop car pulls up to her and is like, yeah, ma'am, are you drunk? Yeah, pull over right now. So I say all that to say, again, how hard it could have been for her to just slow down and just say, hey, they have my kid, can you go pull them over, blah blah blah. She decides to just act like a fool, essentially. And the rest of the movie played out like that. I can't even remember the rest of the part. That part just stuck out to me. Like, the rest of the movie is still shit anyway. But anyway, we'll move on to the next gem that released this fucking year. New Mutants. And you know, it's funny. This fucking movie should have came back out in 2013 or wherever it was fucking announced. Because God, was it just trash, nigga. Trash. The only thing that was cool that they had in there was this small scene where they basically had like the main character, she was having a vision, and she saw Laura and them at the facility. Laura, I mean Wolverine's daughter, at the facility where they were being held or whatever. And I don't know how that chronologically fits, but it doesn't fucking matter because that shit doesn't even exist anymore. But this movie was just fucking stupid. From the rip, this shit looked like it should have been on CW, dude. Like, no lie. You have them set up this demon bear thing, which, by the way, I'm spoiling this shit for you because you shouldn't even fucking watch it in the first place. It's all in her mind. Fucking Danny the main character's name is Danny. She can use your fears and turn them into reality, and they can fucking kill you. Big whoop. Her fear is this demon bear thing, which, by the way, I don't even know that much about this character in the comics, but I know from the comic fucking people that I follow on YouTube that it's actually a legit character that feeds off people's fears. Instead of following that, they decide, yeah, let's go ahead and make that her fear. And then by the end, to make it anticlimactic as fuck, she puts her fucking hand on this nigga's snout and just says, yeah, goodbye, go rest now. This nigga's like, and then just disappears. I'm like, okay, like this shit just wasted my fucking time. Like, a waste of your time. And I thought it was even funnier too, and I should have told this person this too. There was this person at my office that I'm friends with. She went to go see it, and I should have told her. Well, she didn't tell me she went and saw it. She told me she was going to see another movie, but then it ended up like not happening, so they went to see New Mutants instead. And I was like, you should have told me, because I would have told you, stay away from that. That shit is garbage, my nigga, garbage. But all right, let's move on. This next one is actually a Netflix movie, and our friend Izzy, yeah, this nigga right here, he got me to watch it with him. We did this dual watch along. He's like, "Yo, man, let's watch the movie at the same time." I was like, "All right, nigga," and boy, did I wish I did not watch this movie. It's called Game Over, Man. Listen, I'm not a fan of gross out comedy. That's just not me. They have a scene. They just have this running joke, and I'm going to be just as blunt as I can with this. They literally have a scene where one of these niggas gets their dick chopped off. I'm not joking. And it's used as a gag for the yeah. It's used as a gag for the entire fucking movie. You have this nigga with his dick in his hand, like, help me get it back. I'm like, nigga, this shit is not funny. Like, it's just not. Like, it's just, to me. And the jokes and the script, it's garbage. Trash. I don't even want to talk anymore about it. Just don't fucking watch it. Next movie I have on here. This shit came out last year. And again, a part of the Fox fucking X-Men shit. A lot of those X-Men films were garbage. But this one especially, Dark Phoenix. Everyone knew that was coming. Like, that movie. Why they even... Nigga, it should have just been canned. You should have left your fucking X-Men legacy with Logan, because at the very least, that movie was just perfection. I could watch that movie any fucking day, because that movie was just great. Instead, every time I have to think about the last movie you did, I have to think of this piece of shit. And New Mutants too,
technically,
actually.
You gotta think about New Mutants.
New Mutants
is
too,
the last
actually.
hurrah.
But the script, the story, you've all seen it before. The script is shit. You have Cyclops over here acting like a goddamn stalker, fucking weirdo ass nigga. You talk, you do that, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, and then you have Jean.
I also had that on my list too, and I hated it because of the order that they put those movies out. Because when they started the new X-Men reboot, it was essentially supposed to be Days of Future Past was actually supposed to be the third film into the series, because what they want, actually no, I take that back. It was supposed to be First Class and Days of Future Past, and then it was supposed to be the Dark Phoenix Saga, and it was supposed to be a two-parter. But for some strange reason, Fox wanted Apocalypse, and that's the reason why that movie was bad, and that's the reason why Jean Grey had the Phoenix Force prior to the actual movie, and there was just inconsistencies everywhere. Which,
by the way, like you just said, is an inconsistency, because how is it that at the end of the Apocalypse movie she has the Phoenix Force already? Yeah, in this fucking movie she's just getting it. Alright. Listen, don't waste your fucking time. Unless you just want to laugh at it like we do. We make fun of this shit all the time. There's a specific scene at the end where Jean Grey becomes the Phoenix in full totality. Ooh. And fucking everyone's looking up in the sky. I was like, they should have just went all in. Have fucking Cyclops look up and say, "Baby, take me with you. He said we were all going to be together. Come on." You know, some shit like that. Because then at least I would have had a laugh. No. Instead, she's flying away all majestic like fucking Charles and Magneto are over here having a chess game. Nigga, I wanted them to look up in the sky and start smiling too. That shit would have been funny. Like, trash, my nigga. Don't waste your time. And the last movie I have on here, I recently rewatched. And God. Clash of the Titans. That came out dead in 2010, my nigga. Don't waste your fucking time. They have fucking Liam Neeson as Zeus. That's all I have to tell you, my nigga. Liam Neeson, bruh. And you had Kat Harrington. What is his fucking name? Kate Harrington? Whatever. Kat Harrington, whatever. This nigga's the main character.
I would just give up trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah. This nigga's the main character, Perseus. Just don't waste your time, man. If you are into anything like Norse mythology or Greek or whatever, like I am, because I play the God of War games, like I just really like that type of shit. if you want to have a laugh, go ahead. That's all I can say. So I'm gonna move on to the worst shows now, and I'm just gonna
Actually,
wrap.
let me go ahead and go into mine because
Okay.
I can tell your shit is gonna be a marathon because I said movies and combined them together.
Oh
And
yeah,
you went down the whole list and went down the shows.
I kind of broke mine up because like I don't know, it's just kind of like that's just how my brain works. I like to like order shit personally.
Yeah, you should cut down to the first five for the TV shows because
First five.
it's getting a little lengthy. Yeah, for the rest of the things, you got about, like I said, this band over here got 8 different selections for a top 5.
Yeah, I can cut it down. I can cut it down because I did kind of think of a lot of time there. I'm sorry, I'm just passionate about shit, my nigga. Like damn, you know what I'm saying?
I just want to remind you, so we gotta keep up from time. But yeah, it's whatever. Oh gosh, worst for like my worst. We honestly had the same thing for our list, but like I had Star Wars, I had Dark Phoenix because honestly both those movies are just bad. Like a franchise that's like they could just never do it right. Like Fox for one could never do it right. Like they couldn't have Hugh Jackman being in a rated R movie because they're afraid of ticket sales. And Star Wars, I don't know. Kathleen Kennedy is kind of like poison to that entire franchise because she's her best argument is saying that there is no source material for those movie franchises, which is obviously not true. Yeah, so for my worst, I'm going to start from Dragon Ball Super. Now, this is kind of controversial between like us because not really because you didn't say anything, but we watched Dragon Ball Super. We did reviews on it on our old channel. Don't look for it; you ain't gonna find it. And basically, the TV show was kind of like fan service and a nostalgia trip of what Dragon Ball Z was. And every single manga, every single arc that they had was just god awful. Like the the Super Saiyan God arc, that was interesting.
Yeah,
But when they replayed it on anime,
they should have never redid
don't
them.
never should have did that because
it tarnished it. It tarnished it. The animation was shit. It just was like they added like I will say at least they added a couple like little tidbits of information. That's cool, but nigga, just why did you even redo those? Like it didn't make any sense. Like dumb.
Yeah, Frieza had damn flippers for feet. Like it was strange. And then like the Goku Black arc was just kind of we honestly we ripped that shit to shreds. I remember like when we did like episode discussions towards the end, we were both pissed, like all three of us, when it was me, Beam, and our friend Alex. We didn't like the manga version or the anime version because they all lost. They all got completely turned to dust.
Yeah.
Like we honestly joke about that all the time. We're like, what happens if these characters get turned to dust? When it happened, we're like, yeah, this sucks. And honestly, the only thing that was probably good for the Dragon Ball Super franchise is the movie that came out with Broly, because there's a new art style. Like we got some lore from like the time before Planet Vegeta got blown up, but I mean, I don't know. I think Dragon Ball needs to kind of be put to the ground, like tied up, take behind back, and just be put down like an animal.
I wouldn't go that far. I listen. Here's my thing. Like I didn't enjoy Super as much as say maybe Z, but the arcs, like even though they did have a lot of problems, like I can't deny I fucking love some of the characters, man. Like Goku Black, that nigga was a savage, bro. I don't care what you told me. That nigga was a fucking savage, bro.
It was cool. It's just like
it's
whenever
just
they
the
deal
story.
with Trunks, like
the story is like
it
just they didn't do a good job conveying certain things. Like it was
never
cool.
deal with time travel.
Yeah, especially time travel. Like you didn't overtly say like what was going on here. Like is this a time loop or some type of time distortion? Because essentially what you can take from all that is okay, so in order for Goku Black to even be born, Trunks would have had to come back to the past to tell them, yo, this nigga's fucking my shit up. Which prompted Goku and Beerus and them to go confront Zamasu and Gowasu in Universe, what was it, 11? Is that the universe? I don't remember. But they go there.
I don't remember.
They go there, fight this nigga, which then gives him the idea, yeah, I'm going to take this boy's body, and it's going to be mine. So they didn't even say that. It was just... And then when Beerus... That's the strangest thing. When Beerus kills this man, in their reality, he's saying, oh yeah, it should have erased him in your reality, Trunks, which is not the way Trunks knows it to be. They go back there, this nigga still exists, and he's just like, oh yeah, it's because I have the time ring. Whatever Beerus does back there, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like, how?
Honestly, I didn't even know the reason why he didn't die was because of the time ring.
It was because of the time ring, apparently. But
I just thought it was multiverse theory where time doesn't change.
He said no matter what Beerus does to me in the past, it doesn't matter. I have the time ring. So it's like, whatever. Listen, it's honestly it's honestly like what Izzy said to me before. Dragon Ball is one of those where don't try to look into the story too much because it's not going to make sense. And honestly, it doesn't. You move on to actually before that, I actually did kind of like the Universe 6 vs 7 whole arc.
Yeah,
that
no,
arc
I was
fine.
gonna say like that one was good.
It's just
you had Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and then like there was like a limitation to Goku's power, and then all of a sudden he just said, "No, I can do this shit for real, anytime."
Yeah, that's when it just kind of got stupid. Like you get to the Universe Survival arc, and granted, it was cool to see this massive fight going on and all this stuff, and that was cool. But it's like you have certain characters where they get benched. Like for instance, Hit. The way they had this nigga, like, especially when they had those filler episodes where Goku put a hit on himself, the shit that Hit was doing was like, yo, this nigga is not anyone to really be playing with.
Monstrous.
Yet you get to this arc, and this nigga's getting his shit pounded in by Jiren, which, honestly, Jiren is one of the worst characters they've ever done. I don't care what anyone says. Like, he is just basically a fucking, like, deity. Slamming these niggas into the ground. The only reason they got him out was because Frieza and Goku had to fucking kamikaze this nigga out of the fucking ring. It's like what the, like literally, like, and his backstory is shit. Like, oh well, my master died, so I just trained endlessly. Nigga, how did you get that powerful though? Like, you're not even a fucking Saiyan, bro. Like, you know what? Whatever.
He was literally just written to be strong for the sake of plot.
Yeah.
That's what, and honestly, like you said, like Izzy said, and we talked about, like we can't give Toriyama too much credit because all these things that we talk about as far as theories and stuff like that, it just does not work in our favor because like we give him too much credit. I remember when Black Ark first came out, we're like, oh, Trunks has a different color hair, and Mai was there. Mai was the biggest like what the fuck because you know. There's no explanation to how she even exists. And so, to me, in my mind, when they showed that, I'm like, oh, okay. Something had to happen between Trunks and Goten. Because if not, that does not work. And it was the latter. And we're just like, yeah, this is crazy. And I don't know. Like, whenever the Moro arc comes out in anime form, I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. I hope to God they don't do like more filler because it's gonna be stupid.
Yeah, that's one thing that was really dumb about the show is like all the fillers. I mean, they're skippable now. You can just skip them. Back then when it was airing, it was like this shit is like just get on with the real shit, man. Like that's not to say.
I mean, even if it does come out, it's just like you really want to watch the fillers because you just got to wait. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'll just wait and watch it. Because I do like the Moro arc. I mean, I've read a majority of it, like, because it's only in manga form at this point. It's good. It is good. So
it's like I definitely like it. But yeah, going next to my list, and I'm gonna kind of get this quick. And I kind of realized I'm not making this into a discussion, so I should really stop doing what I'm doing already. But so the next one on the list is Orange is the New Black. Now I started watching that show kind of like in its when the second season was out, and I did not like it. For one, just because of the fact that like there's nothing inherently interesting about the show, like the plot, like. And I talk about this in class where I was like talking about like representation with like particular characters that deal with like LGBT and like people of color, and I honestly felt like that show was just using sex as like a tool guide to tell a story, and not even just that, like the characters themselves are just really boring. Like the main character's boyfriend, the fact that they actually had a storyline where it's just like he's coping, like yeah, that's pretty cool. Like we get to see like how he's dealing with that. Like, is he going to try to move on or nothing like that? Like, nope. They just show this guy just like figuring out what edging is, and then actually showing him trying to bust a nut
Goodness,
on
man.
camera, and it's just like, I'm not staying tuned for that. Just the way that they like a lot of the scenes just made it seem like there were like more sex scenes than there was like dialogue, and it just made me feel like they were like the director was confused on whether or not he was like making porn or if he was actually like telling a show on Netflix, because like the way these girls go at it, where it's just like, damn, like I feel like I should have heard like the Pornhub like beat drum thing going off, because of the fact that it was like, yeah, yeah, like they're just like, yeah, I want more tongue, yeah, counterclockwise that shit, yeah, there you go. Yeah, like it was just strange, and I did not like that show. Maybe other people did, but I mean, honestly, I just think that I'm glad the show is done. I hope it's done. But my last worst show is 13 Reasons Why, and I honestly went on a rant because none of these guys actually seen the show. I told Beam to watch it just so he can see how dumb it is. I don't think you did you?
No. I have so many
Nope.
shows
Yeah,
that I'm
big
fucking watching at this current moment. Like, it's kind of hard to keep up. Like, I've been trying to like power through Breaking Bad because God, that's a good show. I'm on season 3 currently,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, that is also on our best shows, one of our best shows. But
yeah.
yeah, so 13 Reasons Why, it came out, and it's essentially, if anyone hasn't heard of it, which is really weird if they haven't, it's basically about a girl who commits suicide and then puts her like confessions on a tape and basically like lists them out for people who she felt was responsible for her death. And honestly, everyone has said this when it first came out. That is a wildly irresponsible way to depict mental illness, because not only did it drive the suicide rates up, it honestly just like it made the depiction of teen depression just the worst. And the story was just honestly baffling, because the main character, who I'm convinced is a schizophrenic who refused to get help in the first couple seasons, essentially gets these tapes, and he doesn't listen to them all for some strange reason like a normal person would. He listens to them by each tape, decides to use like whatever judgment he like whatever like sort of judgment he gets after listening to the tapes, and starts like hounding on the people involved. And then when he finally gets to his tape, then he's like, oh shit, I'm a terrible person. But in reality, what it fails to mention is that honestly the character, I forgot her name actually, the character who killed herself, she is not a good person either, and they don't really mention that at all. And so what she does is, instead of like, I want to say like doing the right thing, and it's a very touchy subject actually talking about it, but honestly, don't make a fucking tape about the people who like wronged you and then kill yourself, because you're doing more harm than good. And then the next seasons they had cover up of a murder. They had a murder mystery, which is just really stupid because of the fact that the last 2 seasons tried to redeem a rapist for some strange reason. The character, yeah, no, I told you, I told you about that. How like in season 3 there was this murder mystery where they were like, oh, who killed Bryce, the rapist? And they went all the way. They went through all these lengths to try to redeem him and be like, oh, he's human too, but he is in fact a serial rapist, my nigga. And they're trying to say, oh my gosh, he shouldn't have died, he could have been a better person. But they didn't even show that. Like, every time he had the opportunity to fuck with someone's lives, he took it. And then when he died, they're like the characters who killed him were projecting so hard that they started taking their anger out on everyone else, and actually were considering to frame the other people for killing him. And it was absolutely wild. And then the fourth season, the final season, the character Clay ended up having a complete schizophrenic breakdown where after they framed another kid, mind you, because they did, and he inadvertently died, he started committing crimes. He like pulled a gun out. He pulled a cop's gun, and not only did he not get shot, but he escaped the hospital afterwards. Like, there was no accountability for this character at all. So I can kind of go on and on, but honestly, you can find other TV or other YouTube channels that talk about it way better than I can. So yeah, those are my worst. So, whew, my nigga.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'll do on my worst shows. I'll just try to be a little quicker about it. So I'll just say a brief thing about why I don't like it. So my list, I have Iron Fist. It should be obvious, nigga. Out of back then, when they were doing those shows like Jessica Jones and all that shit, trash show, dude. Worst of all.
It really was. And honestly, I don't care about the time. I don't even know why I said that before. Like, let's keep this shit going. People will listen to it or they won't.
Okay.
And I agree. Iron Fist is, that was bad, dog. You remember when he like came back? He came back into his own office, all bearded up, looking like Raggy, and just like
no shoes, smelled like shit probably, and you expect what was his character's names? He had that brother character, and then the Joy, I think the other chick's name was. I don't know why I'm forgetting the dude's name, but yeah, why would you expect them to believe some fucking bum that just rolled into the building is Danny Rand, who was supposed to die in a fucking plane crash?
And then he's just like, I have to defeat the Hand. And it's just like, bro, we know. And he even continues to do that in Defenders. Defenders was not that good either.
No, it wasn't. Like, for a supposed like team up show, yeah, it man, I'm not sure what they were trying to do with that. Like, when they do Iron Fist again, whether it be show wise or in the movies, please just get a better actor, because that nigga fucking sucked. Like, his facial like acting, and then like the way he's like like getting angry and shit. I'm just like, this nigga's a fucking doof. Like, please, like, just like, and it's just even worse too, because like when it got to season 2, initially, I actually like was like, okay, this isn't as bad as season 1. Like,
wait a minute, there was a season 2?
Yeah, my nigga, yeah, season 2, bro.
Oh my gosh.
And initially, it wasn't that bad. They were going in a good direction, and it was cool because what ended up happening was he gave his powers to Colleen, and she was doing some cool shit with that, my nigga. Like, she actually was projecting her Iron Fist into her sword, and I was like, nigga, this shit could be lit. And this is where they fucked it all up. Davos, I think was his name, his brother in arms or whatever, and the nigga who got the anti-Iron Fist, whatever the fuck, he got like another power. They had a huge fight. Iron Fist obviously won, blah, blah, blah. He gave his powers to Colleen. Here's where the shit got fucking stupid. Him and his brother character that initially started off as being a huge dick, I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Ward. Him
he's honestly not rememberable.
Yeah, he's not, but he had a lot of character development in season 2. Him and Danny go to Japan to go track down, like, I forgot, whatever. They just go there to have vacation, track some stuff down. The fucking end credit scene is of Danny with the wraps of a previous Iron Fist, and the previous Iron Fist had guns. So now that the Iron Fist, just listen. The previous Iron Fist used guns, and since he imbued parts of his power back then inside those guns, guess what? Danny can use that now too, and he has fucking Iron Fist infused bullets. I'm not joking. Look this shit up. It's so fucking trash. I was like, you're telling me you did all this work to make this season at least way better than the fucking first season, which was a low bar, mind you, but you just derailed that entire thing with this stupid shit. Like, you know what? I'm just getting triggered just fucking talking about this stupid shit. Like, it's just dumb. The next thing,
that ain't good at all.
yeah, it's just like, why would you even do that? Like, it's just fucking dumb. The next thing I have on my list is Flash. Now, I'll preface this by saying this is season 3, post season 3, but I'll kind of delve into where certain things that I liked and certain things that were just fucking dumb. So, when we got to Flash season 3, right? It was cool. You know, we just came off of the whole Zoom thing, and even in season 2, there was some things that were just like they could have done better, but overall that season was fine. Zoom was a great villain, beat the shit out of Barry when he first came on. It was awesome. Blah 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 blah. You got
Broke that nigga's back.
Broke his back, stabbed him with speed reducers, all that type of shit. We get to season 3. Savitar shows up. Now, again, they have these super cool entrances. Savitar comes in, and you know, initially, like, let's say with season 2, they showed you how much faster Zoom was. He was way faster than Barry, right? When Savitar came in, no, they showed you like this nigga was way faster. Like this nigga was warping while he was running. And while they were fucking looking at that on like Team Flash's view, they're like, we can't even fucking find this nigga. He's like warping everywhere. Like, what the hell's going on? He beat the shit out of Barry, and that shit was cool. It was like, oh, this nigga looks like he's about to be crazy. And then they started delving into stupid shit where it's like they didn't explain whether there's the Philosopher's Stone is part of his suit or not. And then also they said that this particular version of Barry is so fast that he burns himself, which explains why he has a burn mark on his face. Yet when he's out of this,
I don't even know how you figure that out. Like you told me about it, and I was like, I have no idea how you figure that out. Cause...
Yeah, I don't even remember where I heard it. I just heard it somewhere. I think it was either from Emergency Awesome or something like that. Maybe from way back then. He's just a YouTube channel to follow. If you don't follow him, you should, because he just talks about like pretty much everything. But they said that, and you show me nothing that indicates that he's that fast when he's out of the fucking suit. He just runs like Barry regularly, so that's stupid. And then you tell me this nigga got killed by getting shot in the back by Iris while he's running. And it's like,
yeah, I was
like, this is, what are you guys doing? Just idiotic. Then we get to season 4, and mind you, the Thinker, like, they were trying to go for, you know, a non-speedster villain, which is cool. And I actually like the Tinkerer, like, or the Thinker. I said Tinkerer. Thinker, for what they portrayed him as. You know, he's like outsmarting them. He's smarter. Blah 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 blah. He's not being a good husband. That kind of could have done without. Like that shit was kind of dumb. Like his wife and controlling her and shit like that. But it was cool. They dealt with him quick, fast, or I shouldn't say quick, fast in a hurry. They dealt with him by the end, and you know he uploaded his mind in a satellite or some shit. He's out there somewhere. Then we get to season fucking 5.
Man, what happened in that season? I honestly forgot. Like I know.
Oh my god.
Oh
Listen,
yeah,
that's
his daughter came back from the past.
Yeah, that's the Cicada season, dude. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, that is the worst season they have ever done.
That was bad.
Like it's even worse than Savitar. The nigga who played Cicada, what the fuck? Like his acting was just garbage. And the second one too, she was even worse than him. The only redeeming quality about that shit, which is why I think they knew that they had to put him in there, was Reverse Flash. That was the only thing that saved that. But he couldn't save that season though, because that season was garbage, bro. I don't know what they were doing. Like it's just like what the fuck. And then like I think the direction they're going now, but even then we've talked about this off mic too. They're talking about how they're gonna do this shit where it's like Joe has to deal with things in the police force, and I'm just like, shut
Yeah.
the fuck up, like please, like
It's kind of like this whole CW thing, and we can kind of tie it into like the whole, because I know you got Batwoman on the list too,
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
just like CW has this thing where it takes characters and tries to tokenize them, because that's really weird. That's really weird to have Joe, who is like on the top level in like a police position, like he is what, the captain?
yeah.
Like, how are you gonna have someone who was the captain face any racism in the police force? Like, that is that doesn't that's not gonna
So
work.
what? So
Like,
what are they gonna be
they're
like?
gonna
Oh,
disregard his orders
yeah,
and just
like
be like,
oh,
"Ah,
we have a
shut up."
nigger
Like,
for a captain now. Oh, like come on, bro. Like please. Like the only thing that has my interest because I mean I guess they also had the wait what season? Am I mixing shit up? I don't remember like. Wait, no. I am mixing things up. That's season 6, isn't it? Because season 5 is the one that dealt with like part of it dealt with like that blood guy or something. The dude who
oh,
has
you're
like the
talking about
blood
blood
powers.
work.
Blood work, yeah. They had him in there, and then they had uh I don't even remember this. You see, like this is the type of shit that's just like I don't even remember all the shit they did. All I remember is blood work, and then half of the season was dealing with something else, and then they had Cicada, and then they have Mirror Master now. Now here's the
Blood
thing.
work. Blood work was afterwards though. Blood work was season 6
Oh, okay.
because that was before Crisis.
See, I don't even. Yeah.
Basically, we like the shows. The shows get kind of confusing. They had it going pretty well from like season 1 to season 2. But, like season 3, they just kind of messed it up. And then like now, I don't know. Like they, like CW has just this weird thing where it's like more of a drama than it actually is like a comic book show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like this whole thing with Joe and just like the villains and stuff like that, because they have a really good opportunity outside that Joe situation to have a really good villain. I mean, it's going to involve 2 speedsters, but
Yeah, and that's what I was about to
don't know
mention.
how that's going to work.
That's what I was about to mention is the fact that the only thing that has my interest peaked because they're still having this ordeal with the Mirror Master, which by the way, I just gotta say, why'd you make her so sexy? Like honestly, it just gotta distracts away from like,
This nigga
like she's just like that's the thing that CW does too. If you don't
I'm gonna
notice,
let you
they
handle that right
they
there.
always get like good looking actors. I'm talking about on both sides, like good looking actors, like almost eye candy, right? That's all I'm saying.
It's because it's CW. It's a drama show.
Right. But anyway, that was a tangent anyway. So you have to deal with her, which I'm assuming you're just gonna get her out there in like the first 1 or 2 episodes. But what they're really setting up here is Red Death. Now, in the comics, it's different because it's a fusion of Batman and Flash, but it's a Batman that's just essentially evil. They can't do that on the show for obvious reasons in terms of rights, but what everyone's saying it's going to be is a fusion because they've shown that Reverse Flash now has the ability to take over people's bodies, right? And they've been doing Godspeed a lot, which by the way, they haven't been doing a good job on Godspeed either. He's way cooler in the comics. But anyway, maybe this will redeem him anyway. The thing is what they're saying is that it's going to be Reverse Flash taking over Godspeed's body, and that's how they become Red Death. Now, that could be awesome because I honestly just want to see Barry get his shit stomped in by someone faster than him. That's just always fun to see because it's just like you have the opening. I'm the fastest man alive. It's like no, you're not. When you're getting
they don't
your
have
shit.
that anymore.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did change
They
that
changed
because
it. Actually, I
that-
like that opening a lot more because
Yeah.
it's honestly really cool because the whole fastest man alive. Like I think they knew, and people are just really sick and tired of it by like the second season. They're just like, yeah, they really should change that.
They should because it was always funny. He'd be like, I'm the fastest man alive. And you have Zoom over here bashing your fucking face in like every chance he gets. It's like,
They really tried to do like the Arrow thing because like in the Arrow it kind of worked because they were just used a recap and they're just like, yeah, I came after 5 years on an island, and that kind of worked. But I mean, I think they just changed it because
yeah.
it gets repetitive. And yeah, like the Flash, I don't know. I'm kind of tired of like superhero shows on TV.
Yeah, it's a budget thing too, man. Like you could just tell they just never have enough money. Like especially with the effects. It's just
Yeah.
like, uh, what can you do? But I can quickly tie this into Batwoman too, because I listen. I tried to give that show a chance. I really did. Like initially when it started, I was like, yeah, I mean the first episode was decent. I'll give it a chance. I'm not saying it blew me away or anything, but I'll keep watching. Nigga, I got halfway through that first season. I couldn't anymore, man. The fucking just the story and shit. Even Ruby Rose left by the end too. For no one knows the reasons, but
Oh, I do. She did talk about it.
what did she say?
Because she like hurt her back, and then she was not used to the ridiculous amount of hours that she had to put in. Because since she was the main character, she had to work like 12 to 14-hour shifts, like acting and things like that. So she just wasn't used to it. She just hated it. So
Oh shit!
that's the reason right there.
I didn't know that. But here's the thing: the main, the main villain of this is why I'm just wondering how that's even gonna work unless they dealt with that in the first season. Because like I said, I didn't finish it. But one of the main villains in there was her fucking twin sister. And by the way, the chick who plays her sister, man, like, oh my god. It's the same thing with Cicada, even. They just overact. Like, it's just like, she's just like, you fucking left me! You left me to die! I'm like, oh my. Like, why are you acting like this? Like, it just got too much. I was like, and then also, too, they kept focusing on the fact that, like, her, Batwoman, and her ex-girlfriend still have feelings for each other and they can't admit it or something. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about this. Nigga, beat someone up. That's what I'm here for. Just don't waste your time. Especially now with season 2 where they're having the fucking tokenizing thing. Like, just fuck it. So, I'm going to kind of get into some animes now, actually, a little bit. So, I'm just going to give you the synopsis of this anime. And you're going to probably be scratching your head. The synopsis, this anime is called Keijo. The synopsis of this shit is chicks who fight using their ass. Like, that's literally the synopsis I'm going to give you. If you want to look into this shit.
Fan service anime.
Yeah, it's a fan service anime. If you're an ass man, check it out, my nigga. That's a field day for you. It's fucking dumb, though. I guarantee you're gonna be just sitting there during the first episode like, what the fuck? That's pretty much all I have to say. Like, I just, there's nothing else to it. It's just chicks fighting with their ass, dude. Like, that's pretty much it. And then now I actually have on here Tokyo Ghoul. Now, Tokyo Ghoul is one of my favorite series ever, dude. I'm talking manga-wise. Like, Alex got us into the friend we talked about before. Alex got me into that series, and I absolutely love that series, manga-wise. It's great. Anime form, though, boy, did they fuck that up. First season was fine. Sure, they left some shit out. I don't always expect the animes to be an exact carbon copy of the source material. Sometimes they take liberties and change things or whatever. That's fine. When you get to Route A, and then especially Tokyo Ghoul Re, because I remember I was skimming through some of the Re just to see what exactly they did. Nigga, just read the manga. Like, I'm telling you, it's way more fulfilling than this shit you have before you. I'm just saying. Don't waste your time. It's not worth it. And actually, I have another CW show on here. Surprise, surprise. Not the entire thing, though. I have Black Lightning on here. Season 2, mostly. Season 1, it was short. I liked where they were going with it. I was like, okay. I don't really like the main villain. It was Tobias Whale. It's like this fucking... what do you call that? Albino black guy. He's the main villain. And he's just... when it got to season 2, like, they were just focusing on all the wrong things, man. Like, it was just like, they're focusing on one of his daughters, like, boyfriend, and then this nigga grew dreadlocks from a surgery, and then he died, and it's just like what are we doing here, man? Like, I heard Izzy told me that season 3 apparently is good, so I may check it out. He said it was way better. They don't have Tobias as the main villain anymore. Blah blah blah. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll check it out eventually. Um, okay, that's pretty much my worst shows. You want to do best? You go to best and
Yeah. So like for my best shows, I honestly just had like The Boys. The Boys was pretty good just because of the
Yep.
fact that like with the
I have that in
superhero
mind too.
fatigue.
I have that in mind
Yeah,
too.
it was nice to have a show that didn't take itself too seriously, but it honestly made it very fascinating to watch just these little parodies have like their own thing going on. I just really like the Homelander character just because it's like what happens if Superman goes bad, or if what happens if Superman goes bad and he goes corporate and he ends up turning to that. And I just really like the characters and stuff like that. It was really funny. It was action packed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, about nothing a whole lot to really talk about. I like the show Pose because it's honestly what they do that the Orange is the New Black doesn't, and like it's essentially about a show taking place in the '80s in the Black and Latinx. No, I'm gonna say Black and Latino community of the LGBT and like trans community, and it's basically like a bunch of characters coming together, you know, having their own like hopes and dreams while also understanding the circumstances of the AIDS epidemic. And I like it because of the fact that like their entire like world does not revolve around the fact that they have HIV and they're like crying about it, or like that's like the biggest thing. Like they have actual dreams, and the way the characters and the relationships work are so organic because honestly the way I see it, like I see like a lot of TV shows like CW, when they handle like LGBTQ Q characters, they do it poorly in my opinion
They
because
do.
like they
They
seem
do.
to focus more on like the sex than the actual dialogue.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the same thing goes with 13 Reasons Why. Like for some strange reason, like a lot of the characters, the way they showed that they were gay was not through like their behavior and stuff like that. It showed them just basically having sex, which is just like, okay, so that's all they're known for is like this hyper fetishization of a particular group, and Pose does that completely differently, and I really appreciate and enjoy the show like that. As far
I
as
may have to
movies
check that
go,
out.
I have
That's cool.
I have Endgame. It's gonna be different. It depends on your taste, but as far as movies go, I have Endgame and Black Panther. Endgame was a movie just pretty much 10 years culminating into one, and it's basically like a huge wrap up for the Marvel Cinematic Universe from Phase 1 to Phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice seeing them put that to an end, and honestly, if the MCU ended after Endgame, I would have been completely happy because all the loose ends were cut. Like everything was pretty much finalized, and then you have like Black Panther, which honestly really inspired me to create more Afrofuturistic art because the way anime has portrayed like black people. I'm tired of seeing like the fucking hot dog lips. I'm tired of seeing them have like a little nose and just like nappy ass afros. So that's pretty cool. And then like lastly, mid '90s is a movie that Jonah Hill made, and dog, that movie. I love the movie just because it feels so nostalgic for the '90s. I'm a '90s baby, and growing up, things just for some reason looked and felt different. And then we got to here, and it sucks. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that
And
movie out
there's
though, because you and Izzy were talking
Yeah,
about it.
no,
I remember.
it's really good. There's a point in time when one of the characters, you remember at the end of New Slaves when they had the Frank Ocean part? It had
Uh,
it had that snare drum and had that beat,
okay.
and it was like and yeah, no, they played that and I was like, man, that was like a flush of nostalgia just hearing that. And shit, I might actually watch this tonight after the podcast. But um that's pretty much it. I have runner ups, which was the Flash we talked about. The Boruto anime is trash. I don't like it because of the fact that they just dilly-dally around with filler and characters who honestly don't mean shit. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a letdown because of the fact that just the way that Sony was handling the characters. Avi Arad is a avid Spider-Man ruiner, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
why the shit ended up that way. Yeah, for that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for me.
All right, I'll wrap mine up. I'll just say a few things like in terms of my best shows and movies because some of them he's already covered. So for me, some of my best movies that I really enjoy, I really love Joker. I have that on there. That was such a great movie with Joaquin. Honestly, he's probably my favorite thus far. I know Heath Ledger, like everyone says, he's the best. I have to go back and watch the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm just gonna I'm gonna have a kind of a not a hot take, but an unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion. I don't really care for the Dark Knight movies, bro. Like I don't. Like
I don't either.
They just seem like I understand it's trying to be more like realistic take on a Batman in like the real world, but it just doesn't
work.
It doesn't because like it's like you have like
fucking ruined his cartilage in his knees. He had to retire 5 years later, and doctors just like, Bruce Wayne, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's just,
and
I don't like it.
And it's just like it shouldn't like. And it's just like when I think of Bane, well, Tom Hardy did a great job in that movie, like as Bane. Like, I really wanted to see this nigga just press a button, get big as fucking bash Batman's head in, because that's what I know him for. Like, that's what Bane is. This nigga uses Venom, gets fucking extremely jacked and amped, and starts beating the shit out of people. Like, nigga, come on. But that's neither here nor there. Love Joker, great movie. If you haven't seen it, it is a little uncomfortable because it shows society, like it just holds a mirror up to show you like society, really, like shit can happen. It's just a bad day, and you have all these layers to it. It's like, man, it's a good movie. But I also have Infinity War and Endgame on here as a set because like you said, it's a culmination of everything. I'm interested to see how everything goes in the future because we have all these properties now back on Marvel side with Fantastic Four, and you have Deadpool now and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the next threat is. I'm assuming it'll be Universal, maybe it'll be Galactus, I don't know, we'll see. I also have Logan on here. That goes without saying. That's probably the best X-Men Wolverine movie they've ever done. Man, like I honestly could turn that movie on at any point in time, and it's just like, man, like every time, like I can't even lie to you niggas. Every time like I see Wolverine die, it's kind of like when I see Iron Man die. Although, oh man, when Iron Man died, dog, like I was fucking like I don't want to say I was balling, but the tears were flowing, my nigga. Like I wasn't like that, but the tears were just coming down, bro. But every time I see Logan die too, I'm just like, damn, it's like. It's the end of an era, bro. It's the end, We won't see this nigga as Wolverine again, so sucks.
Yeah.
But
I hope they stop trying to get him to come back too, because please stop. The man is old. His wife doesn't like it when he works out. Stop trying to ask him to come back.
Yeah, if he said he's done, he's done. There's no need to keep asking him. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it at that. I have Knives Out on here. If you haven't seen that, it has like Daniel Craig in it. It has like a whole bunch of people. It has I forget her name. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's like a crime detective type stuff. It's a great movie.
That was a funny movie because it had that chick. She like every time she lied, she threw up.
Yeah.
The guy was just like, he was like, whoa. He's like, you all right? She's like, yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting movie. You don't see the end coming. At least I didn't. Like I thought I had my suspicions, but yeah, I won't spoil it for you. Just check it out. I have Wonder Woman on here because I just thought that was at the time that was the best movie DC had. I think honestly because everything else they had done was yeah. I won't get into it. But, by now we have Aquaman. That was decent. We have Shazam. That was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Shazam was pretty good. But, yeah, out of all those, still, I think Wonder Woman is the best, which is why I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 2. Although, not gonna lie, I hope the CGI on Cheetah looks better. She looked fucking weird. Anyway, I have Into the Spider Verse on here. That's a given. Like that movie was great. It was like, man, Miles is just seeing him coming to his own and dealing with all these other Spider-Man and it's Spider-Man and Spider-Woman, I should say. And it was just a good movie, script wise, visually, everything. It just had that spunk, that kick to it. That I just can't even. I don't even know the word to say. It was just such a good watch. I could watch that anytime. I can't wait for the sequel to that. Then we have I actually have Dragon Ball Super Broly because for some reason I don't know why. Like that's just like the animation, the just for some reason I could just throw that on in the background and just hearing these niggas throw hands with the overpowered ass nigga like especially as Broly, it's just fun to me. Like that's the last thing we have of like current Dragon Ball because we don't know when the fuck that is ever coming back. So yeah. Then I also have Black Panther on here as well for obvious reasons. Great movie culturally. I know a lot of people like I've seen a lot of people say it's overrated or whatever. I'm just like nigga, shut up. Like, especially in light of everything that's happened this year. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, what Black Panther 2 is gonna be like. I know like with everything that's going on, they said they're not gonna be doing any CGI or anything like that to put him in there. So I'm assuming Shuri's going to be in the new Black Panther, and they're going to go from there. Hopefully, they don't, give him some like, oh yeah, he died like fighting some niggas over there or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope they don't do nothing like that. Just have a cool send off, and it's gonna be emotional, man. It's gonna be emotional. They actually recently released a intro as an honor to him, which was really cool for his birthday. So, again, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Then for my shows, I have The Boys. He's already said pretty much everything that we can say about that. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon. Check it out. It makes fun of superheroes, and it just shows like this corporate backing and all these like a lot of these heroes are fucked up mentally, and they do some really fucked up shit. And it's cool. It's just cool to see a different side. Check it out. I have The 100 on here. This actually is a CW show, so I will say you do have to get through season 1. It is a little rough in the beginning, but man, when you get past that, it is a good show. I honestly think it's the best show that CW has, in my opinion. I have to say, in my opinion. That's the best show they had. I think it had its last season this year, so I haven't watched it yet because I've just been watching so much other shit, but I'm going to get to it. I really enjoy that show. I have Breaking Bad on here. I'm on season 3. It's been a great show. So you have this fucking tidy whitey ass nigga right here going to a drug lord, and that's an interesting thing. Just an interesting transformation to see is there's all these factors that go into why he has this fall. Check it out if you haven't. I'm assuming you probably have, and I'm just late to the party. You know what I'm saying? I have Witcher on here actually. When they first announced Witcher and they had Henry Cavill in there, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I see him as Geralt. But yeah, he proved me wrong. I actually really enjoyed that show. I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. I wonder if they're gonna touch on anything in the game at all. I'm a huge fan of Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was awesome. I played that late too, actually, and I was like, damn, why did I play this so late? And it's such a great game. I actually have Hannibal on here. that how I started watching that was funny actually. I was listening to Jeremy John's review. It's basically like the Silence of the Lamb movie and then its sequel and stuff. Like they kind of did that in TV show form, except like instead of Anthony Hopkins as as Hannibal, they have Mads Mikkelsen. And they have like Lawrence Fishburne in there as Jack, and it's actually a really good show. Like if you just like crime drama type stuff, I check it out. Like Hannibal, like he's like, I don't want to give too much away. He's basically a cannibal, and he eats people. Like he kills people and like eats them. And it's like, and it's fucked up. Like they show you like how he like cooks them. Like he'll have like a fucking liver and he's just like cooking it and chopping it up. I'm like, this nigga's fucking sick, nigga. Like, goddamn. But yeah, check it out. And I'll have the Mandalorian on here as well. I just think it's a great. I'm into westerns and stuff. It's a great show. Like it's just giving another side of Star Wars. Like, is every episode a hit? No, but um, I just enjoy it for what it is. I think it's great. It's cool to see this like underbelly of Star Wars, like the niggas who are on some bounty hunter, like backstabbing, killing other people type shit. It's just interesting. I enjoy it, especially this past episode. Like what they're gonna be doing. It's like damn, this like he has a little squad now. You got Boba Fett with him, and you got the other chick who we thought died. I forgot her name, but yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing to see. And then for my honorable mentions, I have Venom, I have Spider-Man: Far From Home, Thor: Ragnarok, Shazam, Invisible Man, and actually 1917. I saw that in theaters, and man, that was a really interesting movie. Like it was just cool to see like this war movie, but it's like all in one frame. Like it's not like any cuts. Like it's literally just one continuous thing. Like that was an interesting movie. But yeah, as far as the other ones like Venom, I just wanted to say like it's funny when that came out that you saw the critical stuff, and there was like, oh, this movie sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then when the fans saw it, it's like, was it a perfect movie? By any means, no. But for a Venom movie, from what we have with fucking Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3, like, nigga, this is welcome because they can build on this. And Venom 2 is sounding like it's gonna be pretty tight. You got I'm forgetting his name. Woody Harrelson is Carnage. Like that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Spider-Man: Far From Home. They had Jake Gyllenhaal in there, Mysterio. It was fun. It was cool. Spider-Man is one of my favorite heroes. It was an awesome movie to me. Thor: Ragnarok I have on here just because like that's like easily the best Thor film. Like I think like late last year or early this year I went on like a Marvel movie binge just to watch everything in totality. And man, if you go back and watch a lot of those earlier Marvel films, they aren't that great. I'm just gonna say that, especially the Thor films, nigga. But yeah, I have Shazam on here. Like I said earlier, a lot better than I thought it was or thought it would be. Great movie if you haven't seen it yet. It doesn't really tie in with any of the other DC films, which I think is smart. Like they have like a small cameo in there with Superman or whatever, but it's not like it's like trying to build on this universe like they were trying to do initially. So it's cool. And in Invisible Man, it's like this movie. It's like a thriller where this chick's like husband, like he basically creates this technology, like cloaking technology, and he's like basically an abusive fuck. So take that with what you will. You can check that out if you want. But yeah, I was just talking for a long ass time, and we're at 2 hours and 7 minutes. So that is insane. This is the longest podcast we've ever done, I think. Yeah. What am I saying? I think this is the longest we've ever done.
Yeah, this has been a minute.
Yeah. So honestly, I think I will save those two topics that we were talking about earlier till next podcast because 2 hours is quite a lot. So
yeah. If you enjoyed this podcast, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Man, I kind of lost my train of thought right here. These are our top 10 or top 5 best and worst movies and TV shows, or Kai Beam's top 18. This has been a while. The year is almost over with, guys. Somehow, knock knock, we haven't had an alien invasion yet. 2020 has been very interesting. I feel like this is a time to reflect. I will probably never reflect on this moment again. So, yeah. Until next time, this is Gamdo, and these are my closing thoughts.
Yeah. You guys take it easy out there. Year's almost done. Be safe. Do what you gotta do and keep pushing, my guy. 2021 is almost here. Hopefully, it will be a good year. So, sign out. Kai Beam, gone.